Hello and welcome back to the Tarkir Dragonstorm limited set review. In this video, I'll be discussing the blue cards and how good I think they're going to be in limited, with the focus on draft. There's obviously some relevance to sealed as well, but it's not the primary focus, as you will see by the lovely tier system here that is loosely based around sort of when I would expect to take these cards in packs. It's not perfect. It's kind of on the fly. But tier 1 is good, tier 5 is bad. That's how we do things around here. Maybe not the same as everybody else. But we're going to get started with Aegis Sculptor. 3 and a blue, 2/3, flying, ward 2. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you may exile 2 cards from your graveyard. If you do, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. So, the ward 2 is really important here, because without it, I would be really, really low on this. It's keeping it up. But the rate is still bad, right? Up front, you're getting a 4 mana 2/3 flying ward 2. Not really all that excited about that. The It's intriguing because it enables you to exile stuff from your yard without paying anything, which matters. Like, there are a couple of cards that care about that, and there could kind of be this like deck for this, and it could kind of work. But I don't think this just goes in any like blue deck. I mean, I think it's like kind of fine because of the ward, and it's like not the worst, and like you're gonna do it like once. If you do this twice, you're thrilled. If you do it once, you're kind of happy. Um, so I don't think it's horrible. I do have a lot of concerns about like, oh, if I have a bunch of harmonized spells in my deck, I don't really want to be exiling my spells from my graveyard. You kind of need a bunch of self mill to set this up, I, which always concerns me. Anytime that's the case, it always concerns me. But I do think this is decent. I'm not super excited about it, but this is one of those cards where it's like, if the format context is, oh, all the self mill cards are good, then this card's going to be decent at least, if not great. I just don't want to be taking this high on day one because it does seem like a card that requires more enabling than it might look like it does. Um, so yeah, that's the first one here. Agent of Kotis, 1 and a blue for 2/1 with renew for 3 and a blue. You exile it from your graveyard, put 2+1/+1 counters on target creature, activate only as a sorcery. This is not very exciting to me. I think you can play this. It is a blue 2 drop. The long lineage of blue 2/1s that like I'm not a huge fan of continues. The last blue 2 drop I was like a huge fan of was I'm sure this isn't true anymore, but it used to be Beta Angler. I just want them to reprint Beta Angler in every set. They won't do it, but that's what I want. That's what I want for my blue 2 drops. This kind of looks like that, but it's not. It's not the same, you know. Um, but yeah, I think this is like kind of fine, but I'm not excited about a 2 mana 2/1 that you basically just want to be milling this card, and then you want to be using it to renew. Like you want to be put this in, you want to discard this or mill it or whatever, get some free value off of it. But the free value is a 4 mana spell that you have to put 2 mana, 2 counters on something as a sorcery, which I'm just not that excited about. Ambling Stormshell, 3 blue for a 5/9 turtle with ward 2. Whenever this creature attacks, put 3 stun counters on it and draw 3 cards. Whenever you cast a turtle spell, untap this creature. So this reads is very powerful to me. Again, I just talked about the ward 2 with the first card. This one it matters a little bit less because it has 9 toughness, but it still matters. Like black spells are gonna have a tougher time answering it. Like you're gonna get 5 mana out of your opponent, like 100% if they answer it. And if they don't answer it, it just attacks, draws 3 cards, and then eventually comes back. It doesn't really matter if it comes back immediately. This kind of looks like Sabsunin to me in some ways. I don't. It's not quite that good. Indestructible is a hell of a keyword, but in some cases, Ward 2 is actually better. Like in some spots, Word 2 is actually better. It's not like just worse than Indestructible. Um, and you get to draw 3 cards when it attacks, and then it like sort of goes away for a while and then comes back. It when you attack with this, you're basically sending it for the rest of the game. Like the game will have ended one way or the other by the time this comes back once it attacks. Um, but I don't think that matters because blocks really well on turn 5, so your opponent can't attack you for a turn, and then next turn you're like, all right, well now I'll attack, draw 3 cards, and then I can hopefully reestablish my board presence that I lost by attacking with this. And there's some like I'm sure there's some counter stuff you can do that like untaps or I don't know. I don't think there's a ton of that, but I'm sure there's some weird stuff you can do. The turtle piece of it, um, there are not that many turtles, but there's probably some that matter. I don't think this needs to have turtles to be good, so I'm believing in it. This is kind of a callback to there was a card like this in original Cons that was a 5/9 for 5 that did that like it only attacked every other turn or something. I don't know. It was weird. This is a lot better than that card. Bewildering Blizzard, 4 blue blue, instant. Draw 3 cards. Creatures your opponent's control get -3/-0 until end of turn. This is strong. We've seen this effect before. This type of effect with, like Behold the Unspeakable from Neon Dynasty. There are other like effects similar to that. This one draws 3 cards and is an instant. I mean, I don't. There's not a whole lot to dislike about this. You just kind of shut off your opponent's attack. Sometimes you just blow them out. Like sometimes you have like a 3/3 in play. They attack you with a 3/3 and a 4/4, and you're like, all right, well I'm gonna Blizzard, eat your 3/3, and draw 3 cards. Like that's crazy, and that's gonna happen like with some frequency with this. Though, like it's kind of a card that its existence makes it like almost impossible to attack into like a blue opponent with 6 mana up. It's just like, well, I guess I could just instantly lose the game to that card if they have it, and it's pretty likely they have it because they passed with 6 mana up. So it's this is one of those ones where it just does a lot. If the format's insanely fast, it could be like kind of medium, but I think the format being insanely fast is going to be tough, just given the nature of a 3 color set. You know what I mean? Like it's just harder for it to be super fast. Now that happened in SNC, which again, what can happen in a 3 color set for it to be fast is that 3 colors just becomes a trap, and like the 2 color decks are just so much better, and that is somewhat likely to happen with this. Like usually fewer colors is better, right? Monocolor decks perform the best statistically, and then 2 colors second best in 3 color, and that's true even in 3 color sets. Usually, they try to make it a little bit flatter, but it still sort of is, you know, limited mana bases aren't very good, and so the fewer games you lose to your mana base, it does matter. But I just think this is going to be a house. I don't know. I believe in it. Constrictor Sage, 4 and a blue, 4/4. When this creature enters, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Renew for 2 and a blue. Exile this card from your graveyard. Tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. Activate only as a sorcery. Yeah, I mean this is just a solid 5-drop. Looks pretty good to me. It's we've seen. Is this quite as good as Spike Shell Harrier? It's in the ballpark. It's in the same region because you're getting a little extra value out of the yard. That matters in this set. The upfront is maybe a little worse. Sometimes it's better. I don't know. It just looks like a solid 5. I don't have not a ton of notes about it. Durgur Island Dragon, 5 and a blue, 4/4 with flying and ward 2, is a dragon. And it has an omen for 1 and a blue to tap up to 1 target creature draw a card. So, the fact that you have to shuffle this back in with the omen, not amazing. One of the things this card does play really well with is the blue counterspell, which we will get to at some point. I think this is fine. The tap something draw a card has its moments. I mean, it has sets where it's okay and sets where it's unplayable. This one, the fact that this time it's stapled to like a big thing that you can just draw later and then cast is fine. A 6-mana 4/4 flying ward 2 is like, it's not exciting. I think you're really gonna put this in the deck just because it is a dragon that you can use 2 mana to do something with, which I think is relevant. But I don't think it's like premium or anything. And here it is, Dispelling Exhale. 1 and a blue, instant. As an additional cost to cast the spell, you may behold the dragon. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. If a dragon was beheld, counter target spell unless its controller pays 4 instead. This, to me, is probably the best quench variant we've seen since Streets of New Capenna, funnily enough, which was Make Disappear. Um, this reads as very strong to me because on turn two, you're going to be able to counter anything, right? You're going to be able to counter anything because your opponent can't pay the two. And then later on in the game, you've drawn some cards, have a dragon, count like four. And the fact that it can hit any spell. So we had in the last set, right? We had the counter spell that only worked for artifacts and creatures, and that was kind of okay. I would have put that. I would have rated that as tier four. That would have been a tier four card for me. Um, at the end of the format, this is considerably better because it hits anything. Now, countering spells a little worse in this set just because of Harmonize, because Harmonize kind of punishes you for countering spells because they still get value off of them. It's still good to counter the spell, but it's just not as good. And you're only going to be playing against like, I mean, Harmonize is going to be around. Harmonize is going to be around. But I mean, this just looks crazy good to me. I don't know. I don't really have a ton of notes. You're just going to have dragons in your deck too. You're going to have dragons. How many? I think the average limited deck has at least four. I think four is kind of a reasonable estimate. You know, there's a cycle of commons. So, and the commons are all playable. They're not all great, but they're all playable. And then the rares, there's a bunch of rare dragons that are great. I think there's a cycle of full, not a half cycle of uncommons as well, that are dragons that you're gonna play. So, yeah. Dragonologist. 2 in a blue, 1/3. When this creature enters, look at the top 6 cards of your library. You may reveal an instant sorcery or dragon card from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Untapped dragons you control have hexproof. So this looks really powerful to me. Again, for the reasons I just said, you're gonna have a lot of dragons, or at least a decent amount. Like I would expect the average deck to have somewhere around 4. So if you're gonna have 4 dragons in your deck, and this makes even one dragon have hexproof at any point, it just becomes a nightmare. And it's a 3 mana 1/3, which isn't great, but it does draw you a card. Like 3 mana, there'll be a card later that is just 3 mana to draw a card, essentially. This is 3 mana, look at the top 6, you reveal an instant sorcery dragon. I can't really imagine, like, there are going to be spots where that's not your best card from the top 6, but it's going to be rare. Like, pretty frequently, this is just getting your best card from the top 6. Because usually you want, okay, well, either I want an interactive spell, okay, instant or sorcery, or I want big creature, dragon. Okay, like, it kind of covers all your bases. Like, it's not quite take the best card of your top 6, but it's pretty close to take the best card of your top 6. And then there's going to be times your opponent, like, has to answer this. Because you just have this dragon sitting in play, and your opponent's like, okay, can't interact with that. A lot of hexproof in this set. A lot of hexproof in this set. Gonna make a lot of people mad. Not me, but a lot of people are gonna get upset. This is one of those ones where it's like, this has the ultimate, just like on the board trick lifestyle. Just anyway, yeah. But this looks great to me. Just looks like a strong card. Dragonstorm Forecaster, 1 blue mana for an 0/3. It has the ability to and tap it to search your library for a card named Dragonstorm Globe or Boulder-born Dragon. Reveal it, put it into your hand, and then shuffle. So these are 2 colorless cards. One of which is a Manalith variant, a 3 mana rock that makes all your dragons have +1/+1, and the other one is a 5 mana 3/3 dragon that when it attacks, you surveil 1. Neither of those cards is very good. I don't. So I've put this in tier 5 because that's how it's going to perform, I imagine. Maybe not. It is basically 2 mana to draw a card. The problem is if you ever draw this after you draw the things that you're trying to fetch, it's just so bad. I should move it to tier 4. Tier 4 is probably more reasonable because tier 5 means I'm like never playing it. I think I could find a deck where you're like, okay, well, this helps me fix my mana, and it finds a. So, like, really what you want to do with this is turn 1, play it, turn 2, go tutor the globe, turn 3 play the globe. But the problem with that is you've spent your first 3 turns of the game playing an O3 and then tapping it. And then like a manalith. It's like is that gonna cut it? I don't know. I don't think so. It is 2 mana like to draw a card, which is a good amount of mana to pay for such an ability. And it does do the thing where it curves into itself, which I like. The concern for me with this is, okay, well, you have to play these cards that are bad when you draw them without this in your deck. Is that worth it? And they're not that bad. The colorless dragon, again, a lot of stuff like revolves around you having dragons, so maybe that's not terrible. And then the globe is like, okay, but like how many dragons are you actually gonna have it play at the same time? Not a ton. I think 5 is probably too harsh. I should move it up to 4. At the end of the day, you are like this is like a thing you can do. I don't think this is completely. I don't think this is so bad that like if you do it, you instantly lose, which is how bad I think it would have to be for this to be a tier 5 card. So I'm moving it up. I don't think you should take this high at all, but I there is something. There's something there with this. This is one of those ones where I'm like, there's something there. It's not so prohibitively expensive that it's like, and at some point in the game, you can be like, all right, well, I'll draw. Like, you kind of want to have like one of each, but then I don't know. I I'm keeping my eye on it. I'm keeping my eye on it. Essence Anchor, another card I'm keeping my eye on. 2 and a blue artifact at the beginning of your upkeep. Surveil 1. You can tap it to create a 2/2 black zombie druid creature token. Activate only during your turn and only if a card left your graveyard this turn. This looks sick. This looks like a sick build around to me. Um, there's just gonna be cards leaving your graveyard, and the real like thing with this is that it surveils 1 on your upkeep. If it didn't do that, I would be rating it much lower, like a lot lower. I think probably 2 full tiers lower, maybe 2 full tiers lower. That's how powerful that effect is on this type of card, where it's like, all right, well, I need to do the thing. There's just so many ways to get stuff out of your graveyard, and I think this is gonna make a 2/2 um every other turn, pretty much. Like I on turn 4, I imagine you're making a 2/2 70% of the time. Is that too high? Maybe that's a little high. I don't think it's crazy though. I don't think it's crazy. Um, Again, obviously not like if the format is like, oh, you're just gonna get beat down to the point that you can't do this. That's tough. But we just saw like the card, the 2 mana version of this in the last set, black green, do this type of thing. This, I mean, just the beginning of your upkeep surveilling 1 is just such a powerful effect, and you're getting. I mean, if you make 2/2/2s with this, you're really far ahead, and I think that's going to be happening frequently. I think that's like this is one of those things, and there's not a ton of like artifact hate in this set. There's more enchantment hate than artifact hate, so this is going to be kind of difficult to deal with, comparatively to how it could be in some sets. So I like it. I'm a fan of this. Focus the Mind, 4 and a blue, instant. This spell costs 2 less to cast. If you cast it under spell this turn, draw 3 cards, then discard a card. This is going to be pretty important in your double spelling deck. Do I think that that's actually where it's going to see play? Not really. You know where this is really good? Turn 5 with the counter spell. Pretty good. It's actually okay, but the thing is, you can just cast it for 5, and it's not a complete disaster. It's not a complete disaster to cast it for 5. They used to just make this 4 mana, just used to just cost 4 to have this. So I think this is not. I mean, I don't really believe in the double spell decks. I just don't believe in them. But this is the type of card that you would need for that deck to work. And you would need to be getting it late, which the rating indicates that you can get this reasonably late. I do think you can just kind of play it in any blue deck, but it's not a priority. Like this, I would take the dragon over this. I think, though I could see them. I could see that other way too. So that's where I kind of have them in the same tier, where it's like, okay, I could take either of these, but I'm just not like thrilled about either. Fresh Start, 1 and a blue, enchantment, flash. Enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets -5, -0, and loses all abilities. Nope. Not excited. Not excited at all. Yes, this is 2 mana. It does have flash, I guess. I don't know. I don't. This doesn't excite me. This is like uh, not. The fact that it can still block is really bad. Like it's really bad. I don't. The fact that you are like, well, I'm gonna remove my opponent's thing, and they can still sacrifice it or block. That's where it's like, man, I don't love that. I don't love that it can still block. There's mild sacrifice themes in the set, not a ton. Black White cares about it, but maybe not. There's some stuff. There's the Black Common that sacrifices too, and that card's okay. So I don't know. I think this is going to be bad. I'm not excited about this at all. I think there's better interaction. Yes, it plays well in the 2 mana stuff package, but I just don't really care. Highspire Bellringer. 2 and a blue, 1/4, flying. The second spell you cast each turn costs 1 less to cast. We've seen these type of cards before. Um, if it made the first spell cost 1 less to cast, I would actually be interested. The fact that it has to be the second spell, it just the second spell stuff. It just are you really gonna play this in your deck and then have it sit there and your opponent just goes like, okay, I'll remove it, or okay, I'll ignore this. When it goes off, it's going to look amazing, but it just requires so much setup cost that I don't really like it. Now the rate on it's not too bad. 3 mana 1/4 flyer actually isn't all that bad, and this is one of those ones where it's like, okay, you know what? You know what? Maybe a 1/4 flyer for 3 can get the job done here. I just I gotta see it. I really gotta see the double spell stuff work before I'm in. Humbling Elder, single blue, 1/2, flash. When this creature enters, target creature an opponent controls gets -2, -0 until end of turn. This is good. This is a good card. It's not going to be quite as good as the artifact version of it from LCI. They printed this card many times, and it's always decent to good. So I've rated it here as decent to good. You generally don't want to take them super high because they're kind of some level of diminishing returns. Like they get kind of like this is a great card for the 2 spell deck. This is like probably the best blue card for the double spelling deck because it's a cheap card that's pretty good and it interacts on the board. So this is really what you want in that deck. But I don't know how much Teamer wants this or Sultai. So we'll see. I'm not super high on it, but this is going to be a role player common. Like you're going to play this, and I can't really imagine. Like you could. I think I'm going to be playing the first copy almost every time, and then yeah. So that's kind of where I have it here. Ice Ridge Serpent, 4 and a blue, 3/3. When it enters, return target creature an opponent controls to its owner's hand. The downgrades, the downgrades are here for the myth of 5 mana bounce creature. I still think it's kind of fine though. I don't know. There's a decent amount of like big tokens. There's a couple of them. Uh, Bouncing stuff is kind of good in this set because of harmonize. Like if you kill the thing, then maybe they get to like renew it from their graveyard. But if you bounce it, they have to recast it. So it's kind of like not, bounce is not as bad maybe as it would be in normal sets. And I think this is fine. I'm not excited about it, but I think it's fine. Kishla Trawlers, 2 and a blue, 3/2. When this creature enters, you may exile the creature card from your graveyard. When you do, return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So this is great when it works. The problem is that it has to exile a creature. And then you're playing a bunch of creatures and a bunch of spells, and that's, your average limited deck is going to do that, but it just gets awkward sometimes. I don't think this is a huge priority. It does work with the like stuff moving out of the graveyard. That's good. I just don't. I think this is going to get really overrated, and then it's going to be hard to take it. You know what I mean? I think this is a good card that I probably won't get to play with that much. Or or it's one of those cards where it's like, oh, it's so overrated to start that it becomes really underrated at the end of the format. That's their that this is kind of looks like that type of archetype of card maybe. Could like a slick shot lockpicker type of card. I don't know. Although that card wasn't really never overrated. It was just kind of like people whatever. I don't know about all that. Oh wait. Uh, this may be one of the cards that I have to redo because of the omen stuff. 4 blue 6/7 flying dragon. When this creature enters, return up to 2 target other non-land permanents to their owner's hand and has an omen. For 3 and a blue instant to draw 3 and then discard 1. I'm gonna leave it in tier 1 anyway. Maybe that's too much because the omen stuff puts it back in your deck, but I don't know. It's sick. The back part of this is great. It's a dragon. Dragons are powerful. Um, I don't know. I it's one of those ones where like I evaluated this when I still thought the omens were adventures, but I'm kind of like, do I care? Do I even care? I do care. I don't know. I still really like this. I'm gonna keep it in tier 1. I like it. Naga Fleshcrafter. 3 and a blue, 0/0. You may have this enter as a copy of any creature on the battlefield. And as a renew for 2 and a blue, exile it from your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target non-legendary creature you control. Each other creature you control becomes a copy of that creature until end of turn, activate only as a sorcery. I should move this up. This is too low of a grade. So the reason I moved it up is just like normally with clone the 4 mana clone effect, we start it in like tier 3 and maybe move down. In this one, I think we can start it in tier 3 and move up. Just because the renew matters, and that renew ability is actually quite good, and like it even like plays better than it reads. Because it's like, okay, well, if I have a 5/5 like token in play, of which there are several, then I just turn all my like 2/2s and 3/3s into 5/5s, and then I attack with a bunch of 5/5s. That's pretty good. And you just have to do that once, and like, this is just a lot of value. I could even just move it up even higher. Hmm. I like Snake Shapeshifter. Oh, it's not a. I could even move this up into tier 1, just because of like how good the extra value is on the back. Yeah. I'm gonna move it up again. I'm moving it up again. I just think that second ability, renew ability, I just think is really good. We just saw how good it was with like Seed of Arma, and like it's not quite as good. This isn't Seed of Arma levels of good, but it's in that ballpark. I feel like you're just threatening to make these huge attacks later on in the game. I hate the 4 mana clone though. I hate it, but you can just discard it. You can just have it not be in your hand anymore. And then you can just get the beds for free value. Oh man. I'm gonna I, I'm gonna continue to ponder this one. I'm gonna continue to ponder. We're compromising with tier 2. Anyway, on to Ringing Strike Mastery. Single blue enchantment. Enchant creature when this or enters tap enchanted creature. Enchanted creature doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. Enchanted creature has 5 colorless, untap this creature. These are just not. I mean, so we had Singing Bell Strike. This is 1 mana cheaper on both sides. I think that is just not good. I just don't in the tempo E Jeskai decks, I could see it. I could see this being good enough, and I should probably not put it in tier 5 for that reason. I just hate these type of aura enchantments that's like, well, not only is the thing not permanently removed, but also like they can untap it eventually, and then it just gets to still be a creature. It doesn't lose any abilities. Uh, you really have to be all in on the tempo stuff for this to work, basically. And I just don't. I think there's better ways to do that. It is a it's a non-creature for prowess, but it's not an instant or sorcery, which is probably bad. Like, I think you'd probably rather have it be an instant or sorcery. One's is I am gonna put it in tier 4 instead of tier 5 though, because as much as I hate it, I do think that there is a spot in like an aggressive blue deck where you could play this. So yeah, I've moved it up to tier 4. I do think that there's a role in an aggressive, Jeskai type deck. I just think those decks are gonna be bad, at least to start. We'll see if this time the formula is just right. The set context formula kind of has to be just right for those type of decks to succeed, and this it might be this time. Riverwalk Technique. 3 and a blue instant. Choose one. The owner of target non-land permanent puts it on their choice of top or bottom of their library to counter target non-creature spell. This is Commit to Memory. Get it twisted. This is Commit from Commit to Memory. This is that card. Be advised. I think this is frankly insane. I wanted to put it in tier 2. I did. And then I was like, would I actually draft this that high? And I'm like, no, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't draft it that high because it's a 4 mana spell. But man, dude, this thing is gonna be a beating. I love this card. I want to put this card higher. I want it. I think this is better than this. But I'm living in reality. We're leaving it in tier 3 for now. If at the end of the format, I'm gonna be able to live with myself. If I'm too low in the set review, I'm gonna live with it. But this just looks really good to me. This is everything I want in a blue interactive spell. It's a counter of things that actually matter, which is a little decent amount of non-creatures, and it hits any non-land permanent. Like the fact that it hits any non-land permanent is very good. Yes, it's top or bottom. You don't get it like a surveil, which is bad. The real question is countering a non-creature make up for not getting a surveil? I think I think it kind of does. I don't know. The real question is I'm always taking the counter spell over this. At least the first 2 copies of the cheap counter and the quench in blue. I'm always taking those over this. So that's why this I think has to slide a bit. But I love this thing. I love this card. I think this card's great. Roiling Dragonstorm. 1 and a blue enchantment. When it enters, draw 2 cards, then discard a card. When a dragon you control enters, return this enchantment to its owner's hand. So this is kind of fine up front. 2 mana, draw 2, discard 1. It's slightly better than what's it called? You know what I mean. The thing. The card. I don't remember what it's called. Anyway, Tormenting Voice. There we go. We did it. We figured it out. It's better than Tormenting Voice. Discarding cards, kind of upside in blue. Like, kind of a thing. We've seen so many things with Renew, so many things, like, so many ways to get stuff out of your yard. Like, there's a lot of things that care about stuff leaving the yard, so enabling that is kind of good. So I think the discard is, like, not even really as much downside as it may seem like. I don't love this one as much as, like, the white one or the green one, because it's not immediate board impact and whatnot. And the green one isn't either. The green one is just draws a bunch of cards. This one, I'm like, I don't know. I like it, but I don't love it. It is a 2 mana spell that doesn't really affect the board, and yes, there's going to be dragons, but are there going to be enough that you're triggering this like 3 times? You only need to trigger it. You only need to trigger it twice, but you have to pay for it second time, and like the second spell is just not. It's not that exciting. It doesn't. It's not. It's not really that exciting. I don't know. I still think it's fine. I still think this is decent. These type of cards are kind of a really cool thing to have in the format, and I like them. But this one I'm a little more hesitant on. Sibsig Appraiser, 2 and a blue, 2/1. When it enters, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. This is sick. I mean, you look at this and the counter spell in blue, and it's like blue's got these banger commons that just like, I don't know. 3 mana 2/1 draw a card has been great. Like we had Priest of Ancient Lore that was 2 mana white to draw a card, gain a life. This is better than that card. Now again, times have changed. It's been 2 years, but it's hard to argue with this. This might be better. They just had the one in MH3, the 2/2 that scryed 2 and then drew 1. Oh no, it was draw 1, scry 2. Sorry, it was. No, wait, was it? I don't remember. Whatever. Either way, this card may or may not be better than that card because it puts a card in your graveyard. It's like kind of debatable. And that card was good, but not amazing. in that format because it was MH3. But this set should be lower power level than MH3. I don't know. This card looks great to me. I don't really need to talk about this card that much more. It seems insane. I honestly could just put this in tier 1. Do I just want to do that? Do I just say it's better? The thing is it really better than the other blue common? No, it's like in the ball. They're both so good. I mean, I'm gonna leave it in 2. I'm gonna leave it in 2. We've moved on. It's great. It's a great card. Snowmelt Stag, 3 and a blue, 2/5, Vigilance. During your turn, it has base power and toughness 5/2, and you can pay 5 blue to make it not blockable this turn. This is just really replaceable. I just can't imagine ever like wanting to play this in a deck. Yes, it attacks as a 5. Like the thing is, all the 2-drops block this. So it's like, oh wow, it attacks as a 5/2. Well, no, it doesn't ever actually attack. It just sits there, and then it blocks as a 2/5, which is fine. I just don't. I mean, this might be a candidate for a tier 5. The problem is its rate's not that bad. So I'm just kind of like, do I even want to put? I don't think this is so embarrassing to play because it does theoretically threaten to end the game, but I just don't like it very much. Spectral Denial. X and a blue, instant. Costs 1 less to cast for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. Counter target spell unless controller pays X. So this is Syncopate, except if you have big creatures, it is easier to cast. I don't really think that matters too much. Syncopate is a card that I would rate in like tier 4, tier 3, tier 4, somewhere in that ballpark. Because it tends to be a little expensive. It's good on turn 2, and then it's not really that great for the rest of the game. It's okay. The last time we saw Syncopate, I think, was Brothers War, and it was fine. No, actually, it was not Brothers War. It was some other time. Anyway, it wasn't great. It was like fine. I think this is going to be fine. I just don't know how much the upside really matters here. How many creatures with power 4 or greater are you actually going to have on the board at the same time? Maybe 2. Seems 3. Does it really matter when you have 3 creatures power 4 or greater that you can make your counterspell a bit cheaper? Like, you're already like winning the game. You know what I mean? Like, you have 3 things that are huge. So like maybe this costs 2 less, and that's great when it does, right? Single blue, quench. That's insanely good. I just on turn 2 it's fine, and then I just don't know how much better this is than Syncopate. Really, I really don't know how much better this is than Syncopate. I don't think it's that much better, but I think it's fine. I think it's fine. Stillness in Motion. 1 and a blue. Enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, mill 3 cards, and if your library has no cards in it, exile this enchantment and put 5 cards from your graveyard on top of your library in any order. Tier 5 is too low for this. No, it's not. It does nothing. I mean, in theory, it puts a bunch of your harmonized stuff in your graveyard, and then eventually you just it prevents you from decking. Tier 5 is too low. But it doesn't impact the board at all. And it does prevent you from decking. Like if you put 5 cards on top, you got 5 turns to win the game. Usually these type of effects just aren't. I mean, this is a lot of mill though. Like this is a lot. Do I want to believe in this? Do I want to believe that this is not completely unplayable? I do. Its win rate's gonna be so bad. Its win rate's gonna be so bad. Because it just does not do anything. How many cards does this have to, like, how many harmonized cards does this have to mill for it to be good? 2, right? It has to mill 2 harmonized cards, and you're sitting there doing nothing while it's doing that. I don't know. We'll leave it here, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I get why you would want it, but I just don't. I don't believe. I'm not a believer. Tygom, Master Opportunist. Again, tier 5 is probably too low. Tier 4, I'm sure you could find a deck to play this. I just honestly just don't. It's one of those like I am going to try to put this in a deck at some point, and for that reason, I probably should move it up. It's just like how good is it actually? Um, Even in the deck where it's good, is it good? I don't know. I'm sure there's a deck for it. Tygon Master Opportunist. 1 and a blue, 2/2 with Flurry. When you cast your second spell each turn, copy it, then exile the spell you cast with 4 time counters on it. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. I mean, this is sweet. It basically just doubles your second spell every turn, which is really good. The problem is, it is a 2 mana 2/2. Um, so yeah, that's a problem. But it's sweet. Like again, all the double spell stuff. It's like if you know what you're doing, if you can make it work, it's going to be really good. If the engine is running smoothly, it's going to be sick. It's actually, I mean, 4 is a lot of time counters also. 4 is quite a high number. Like you will get to double your spell, but it's going to take a long time. This also could lead to some weird bugs where like you cast the spell and you have to cast the same spell again, so you target like a different thing. I don't know, whatever. It's this looks fine. I don't know. I'm not excited, but maybe it'll be good. Maybe my belief will be whatever. Teamer Devotee, 1 and a blue, 3/3 defender, and you can have one colorless to add any of the teamer colors. Activate only once each turn. So yeah, the fixer for teamer, not as exciting as the white one. Probably like it's okay. I think it's okay. I don't love it. 2 mana 3/3 defender, not amazing. Kind of fixes your mana, whatever. Not all that exciting. Unending Whisper, single blue, sorcery, draw a card, harmonize for 5 and a blue. Yeah, this looks great to me. I don't know. You're getting it's a 2 for 1. You this is actually sick in your double spell decks. This is actually like the best card for the double spell decks, the Jeskai decks, because you just play this and then yeah, this is your first spell, then you get a second spell. I mean, it's sweet. It's a sweet card. It's Whisper of the Muse is the joke. Um, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. I it's a 2 for 1. It'll be good. I can't imagine this is bad. I just again, it's not quite in that same tier of blue commons. Rennie's Rebuff. 1 and a blue. Sorcery. Return target creature to its owner's hand. Harmonize 5 and a blue. Only hits creatures and is a sorcery. So you lose the ability to bounce your own stuff in response to a removal spell, which is quite significant. It comes up. It's like a 1 in 20 type thing that comes up, but that's pretty relevant. Sorcery speed bounce just doesn't excite me, and like the harmonized piece of it, just the fact that it is able to be cast from your graveyard makes it kind of fine. I just am not that excited about this. Um, there's some tokens, so maybe the tokens can work with it, but I don't love this. Veteran Ice Climber. 1 and a blue, 1/3 vigilance, can't be blocked. Whenever this creature attacks, up to one target player mills cards equal to this creature's power. So the 2 mana 1/3 vigilance can't be blocked. That's just a kind of a good rate. And then you get to start milling yourself to put harmonized cards in. That's good too. If your opponent's playing that mill enchantment, you can kill them immediately. um, yeah. So I don't know. This looks fine. I mean, this is a good two, like a really good 2 drop that just unblockable twos or with vigilance are very strong. So I expect this to be good. Wingblade Disciple. 2 and a blue, 2/2 flying. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 bird with flying. This is fine. I don't love this. We had Xerox Strobe Knight from March of the Machine. That was great. The problem is that made 2/2s. This makes 1/1s with flying. Now, 2/2 vigilance, 1/1 flying. You could say, is that about the same? It kind of is. I don't know, man. This is probably better than tier 4. I probably am giving it's just man, it sure is a 2/2. Like the Xerox Strobe Knight had vigilance, which didn't matter that much. I guess it works on both turns. I think 4 is probably too low for this. I think it's probably too low. Because you can set it up. Like the thing that's better about this than Xerox is that you you could play this and then immediately get the second spell trigger. Whereas Xerox, you couldn't do that, and it just died. The problem is that this format is higher power level than that format. And so this card, I don't know, they seem to be trying. I'm going to move it up a tier. I'm a believer. I'm being a believer in this. I'm trusting. I'm doing a little bit trusting. But yeah, as I wrote here, it will be a good card once the deck is functional. I don't know which part of the format that's going to be, but at some point it will be a functional deck, and this will be good. Wingspan Stride, single blue for an aura enchantment. Enchants a creature. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 and has flying. It can pay 2 and a blue to return it to its owner's hand. So this sort of does the double spelly stuff. I can't imagine this. I mean, the rate's not terrible. Getting +1/+1 and flying for 1 is good. But you are still running into the problem of, oh, I get 2 for 1 by my opponent because they have a removal spell. That's really bad. And, yeah. So, don't love it. You can return this at instant speed, which is kind of cool. And the last blue card, Winter Night Stories. 2 in a blue, sorcery, draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard a creature card, and harmonize for 4 in a blue. Having to discard a creature is not great, but this is, and also being a sorcery is not great. Being a sorcery really hurts this. It's a lot of card advantage though, like 3 mana, draw 3, discard 2 is fine. Having to discard a creature, if you're not happy about it. I should probably move this, but it's just so much value though. Like think about the value that I could accrue from this card. All the harmonized stuff I kind of just want to believe in because the ability is so good. So I'm believing in this because the ability is so good. And that's it. That's blue. We're done with the blue cards. Please return for the other cards. There will be more Tarkir set review coming out. There is some out. Go watch it. Enjoy. See ya.